Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, as you guys can tell by the title, this episode might be a little bit deep. I don't know if my episodes are deep, if the ones before them are, I don't know. Besides the point, this was really on my mind and I felt the need to talk about it. This might not be something that everyone can relate to, and I respect that, but I know that there might be one person who can relate to this, and inshallah, this will change their perspective. I do also want to mention that every single thing that I say on this podcast is advice to myself first before than anyone else. I know that some people may think that just because you preach Islam and whatever that you're like a great person. That's definitely not the case. Um Everything I say here is a reminder for me first and then everyone else, and it's all done for the sake of Allah, so may Allah forgive me if I've done any sin. So as you guys can tell by the title, expense of your own emotion, some of you may feel confused, but I'm going to get into it. I think one of the hardest things to ever deal with is seeing someone else gain happiness on the expense of your emotions, on the expense of knowing that they hurt you, knowing that this action might not sit right with you, yet they still did it, and yet things still worked out the way that they did. And it can be really hard to take in when something like this happens. And I know for me, it can take years to heal from stuff like this. It's really, really easy to get betrayed, especially now. The way that life is, the way that social media is, the way that we've created this culture. It's really easy to get betrayed. It's really easy to get run over. It's really easy for people to take your emotions, use them while they work, and then completely betray you and leave you upset. And I know how that feels. So I really want to talk about this because, it might be useful to someone. One of the biggest things that I've learned in my life, especially while creating friends, having friend groups and whatever, it's that do not ever give too much loyalty or too much energy to a friendship or a group of friends or anything if they aren't giving you the same amount back. Moreover, treat people with the manners that you have been given, not with how they treat you. It's really easy for people to treat us bad. It's really easy for us to feel like we need to treat them bad back as well to make things even. But that's not right. No, don't do that. I always tell everyone this, don't do that. Because look, Allah has made you as such a kind individual. Allah has put goodness in each and every single one of us. Don't rot the goodness inside of you because people did you wrong. I know a lot of people, and even myself, like I said, everything I say on here, I really relate to. So, I know a lot of people who have become the most bitter people they could ever be because of how much they got hurt. And it's kind of sad to see that happen because there's some very, very nice people who have turned extremely harsh and bitter, and their heart is like a stone. And it's all because they're scared of, letting people run all over them. And it sucks to see yourself getting betrayed after you give so much of yourself to someone, after you are so kind to someone, after you're always there for someone. And that's the thing. I think that's one of the biggest things, that it's like a pill and you just got to swallow it. That there's going to be people in life that are going to walk all over your emotions. And if they have to gain happiness on the expense of selling your emotions, they will. And I know that might not be easy to take in, but it's something that as soon as you realize it, you'll be okay. It might take a few years, but when it sits in you, it'll get better. The thing is in life, no one owes us anything. No one owes us an explanation. I can get up and just decide to not be friends with anyone today and leave. Vice versa, my friends can just get up and leave me. No one's obligated to do anything, right? Like no one owes anyone else anything. But we all do that out of kind courtesy, out of kind respect, out of care. But obviously, in all of our lives, I feel like there's always been a situation where you feel like there's no closure, where you feel like your emotions are running wild, you don't know what to expect, and whatever it may be. And for situations like these, the biggest thing that I've ever learned really is, if you can spend years and years and years being loyal to your friends and loyal to the lifestyle you live for 10, 20 years, why can't you give that loyalty to yourself? Sometimes we feel obligated to always help people, to be there for people after they completely ran us over. And it's 100% a good thing to be kind to everyone. Seriously, even if they hurt you, still be kind to them. Even if they hurt you, they need help, it's okay to help them. But it's really, really, really important that you create a barrier and you don't ever let yourself get hurt that same way twice. Because then, in a manner, yes, it is kind of our fault. You need to remember that you are a human being, and the amount of energy that you put in on every other person Imagine if you put that energy in yourself. And I think about that a lot. And I'm like, girl, like, some of us out here, we can really become amazing people. On our dean, we could literally skyrocket our grades, do great in school, make so much money. All of that. Like, every single human being has so much potential, but sometimes we all get so caught up in investing energy in others. And I look at all this energy that you have spread around and all these people that you're there for. Then the question comes down to who's there for you. And that is where things start to get a little hurt and a little painful, because it's like, I'm there for everyone else, no one's there for me. Who's going to be there to heal me when I healed everyone else? And that's the thing. You can never, ever, 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 ever rely on anyone to be there. And this is one of those hard things that you just have to deal with. Even your best friend, you just can't rely on them to always be free, always be there. You need to owe yourself some loyalty. Moreover, also owe God some loyalty. God has watched you commit every single sin. For as old as you are, He's watched you do everything. And yet He's never ever once cut you off, gotten rid of you, or did anything wrong to you. Think about that. Through everything, Allah has been there. Allah has standed His ground with you. Allah has stopped the earth from literally swallowing you and eating you up. The roof can fall on your head right now, but Allah has protected you, right? So it's really, really important to remember how Allah really has taken care of you. The least that you can do is give Him a little bit of loyalty. I know that it's not easy to realize that you've been betrayed and you've been done wrong and things could have been like this. And I actually know that there's a hadith on this. I don't know it by word, but it's talking about how, you need to avoid that feeling of like the ifs and the ands and the buts and, oh, if only I did this, things would have been different. No, there's nothing you can do. Allah decided it for it to be like this. And now sometimes you're going to have to look at the person right in the eye that has hurt you, watch them live happily off the expenses of your emotion, and you cannot do anything about that. I can't even tell y'all how painful it is. It's really painful. But you're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to see it. And that is where you remember that it is only Allah that can provide me happiness and healing. It is only Allah that can provide me good. While they may have gained happiness on the expense of your emotions, Allah will give you happiness for the amount of loyalty and self-work you do to get closer to Him. Please always remember that. Always remember that. And do not ever become a bitter person in return and try to gain happiness off of someone else. It's not fair. It's not. And we know that. That's the thing. We want people to feel the pain that we felt. And I was talking about this on my TikTok, I believe. Like, life is not a competition. Okay? It's not. We've made it seem like it is. We've made it seem like it's important to constantly, I guess you could say, compete with each other in our struggles to validate who had a harder life, and there's no reason for that. Like when people tell me that they've had a harder life than me, I'm just like, okay, all right. Like, what do you want me to do about that? I'm not gonna sit here and compete and tell you every single one of my hardships, my wars within myself, and tell you all that for your validation, because it's like Allah sees, Allah knows, and you know, and that's all that matters. I promise you, one of the most beautiful feelings in life is like when you're sitting there and you realize that I prayed Allah for this, and none of this came true, but look at where I am now. I promise there's going to be these beautiful moments in life where your heart is going to feel so content, realizing that every single amount of pain that you've endured was worth it because it brought you closer to Allah. Moreover, I just want to say, avoid hurting people as much as you can, because you don't want your hurt being a debt on your name. You don't want them always remembering you and remembering pain. It's scary. It's not good. And we've all hurt people. I've talked about this a long time ago in one of my first episodes. We've all hurt people. We've all done it. And sometimes we can't say sorry to them. We can't apologize. But we can always repent and try our best to change. So please always do that. And remember that you owe yourself so much more. There's going to be people that are going to take parts of your heart, parts of your emotions, parts of your goodness and your kindness and use it up and throw it away. And then literally, I've seen situations where you have built a person from the ground up and you've helped that person through everything, and they'll betray you. And it's hurtful to see, because it's like, you really thought that there would be a reciprocation of the same energy, but there isn't. And that's why it's so important to remember that while we may have helped people, Allah has always helped us. Allah has built us up from the ground. He's made us from dust. He's taken care of us. He's loved us. And at the end of the day, when we die, He'll still be there for us. So that's the thing. You should always have company that you know will even benefit you in the hereafter. And it's really hard to find friends like that. But if you can't find friends like that, like I know I struggle to find friends like that, and it's not a problem. It's okay. No company is better than bad company. You always have Allah. Allah's always going to be there for you. And you know, it's so beautiful to think that Allah, He controls everything. He controls everything. Not just this globe, the heavens, and whatever, everything. He knows the affairs of every single individual. Yet Allah treats each and every single one of us like we're just the one human being that matters in His eyes. You know how beautiful that is? Like, bestie, He's closer to us in our own vein. Like, He's there. And there's no one that can provide more comfort than He can. Inshallah, this was a little bit beneficial to ponder upon. I know it's not easy to see your emotions go to waste, see all your energy go to waste, but remember that when you put that in yourself, things are going to change. Devote yourself to God, because God has always been there for you, and when the time is right, Allah will bless you with good company and good friends, good memories, good habits, all of that. All of this could apply to habits, really. So take care of yourself, and I hope you all have a great day.